Mr. Palacios, on behalf of the EPP Group.
Señor Presidente.
President, first of all, on behalf of the European People's Party, I should like to congratulate the author of this report, Mr. Kalmár, for a very good job of work on a subject which is fundamental for all countries of Europe, particularly when it comes to the rights of traditional minorities. Now, as the report tells us, we have to give top priority to such rights in the Council of Europe, as this is the way in which we can help to prevent conflicts and to make sure that peace and stability prevail on our continent. The report being submitted to this Parliamentary Assembly calls on all Member States which have not yet done so to sign and ratify the Framework Convention on the Protection of National Minorities, and also to implement agreements that have been entered into and apply laws to protect those minorities. Because people living within a country who belong to a traditional ethnic minority need to have assurances that they can play a role in the public and economic life of the country in which they live, and also to transmit their mother tongue to future generations. In this context, it should also be remembered that in a multi-ethnic state such as my own, in a multilingual state in which the national language coexists with others, one cannot deprive people living within national borders to receive instruction in the official national language of the country and only in a regional government. And that is not the case because Spanish law requires that all citizens of Spain know the Spanish language and also have the right to use it. And that is why it is inadmissible that you pit the rights of minorities against those of a majority and the rights that are afforded to them by the Constitution. Minorities should be an integral part of the overarching human rights protection machinery. What that means is that if you are to have a pluralistic and democratic society, then not only should you respect ethnic, cultural, and linguistic identities of people belonging to minorities, but you should also make sure that you put in place the conditions for them to be able to preserve and develop that identity. But minorities must also make sure that there is a climate of tolerance and dialogue, which is a prerequisite for cultural diversity, and that diversity enriches society. Majority and minority alike need to be clear about where their responsibilities and duties lie in a spirit of mutual respect. We cannot have a situation, as we do in part of Europe, in which we have discrimination against groups which form minorities. And what we are seeking to do in this report is proclaim that everybody should be equal, with no discrimination on the grounds of gender, race, or social circumstances, to name but some of the grounds. Make sure that we put in place the conditions for freedom for individuals. And again, I will reiterate my congratulations to Mr. Kalmár, and thank you very much, President.
Thank you very much. So, first of all, the question of traditional national minorities and the question of Roma people, why didn't we discuss the question of Roma people? So, I had, as I said already, I had a clarifying change of letters with the Roma organization. The fact is that I think that the Roma question cannot be discussed in half page or even in 1 page as part of another report. This should be a self-standing report which should be made here in the Council of Europe in the next period. There were a lot of reports regarding Roma people made by the Council of Europe. I listed about 2 pages of titles regarding this issue. Now, the question of traditional national minorities. If you see, the motion was approved by the Bureau of the Assembly with this title. So, excuse me to say this, but if I have to build a motor car, then I don't decide by myself because I was given a job. Then I don't decide myself to build better a train because I like them better. So I think that the question about what we are talking I'm not against the making a report on Roma people. Of course not. I was one of the rapporteurs of opinion 2 years ago here at this place, together with Mr. Ali Grudic. So this is not the problem of what we like or not like. Of course, we have to do that. I accept this idea. But this is focused on traditional national minorities, which I think is another problematic, Roma another problematic with their social and so on problems. Now, Mr. Stroje, regarding how we want to impose autonomy. First of all, I must tell you or remember you that all the recommendations and resolutions of the Council of Europe are not compulsory. So we do not impose to any state anything, but we just show, I think, the right way, or we show ways of solving problems. This is the question also of collective rights and individual rights. I know that Romania doesn't accept at all collective rights, but there are, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, there are, for instance, Article 1 of the Framework Convention for the Protection of National Minorities starts like this: the protection of national minorities and of the rights and freedoms of persons belonging to those minorities forms an integral part of the international protection. So this means that collective rights or rights with collective dimension, this is how today in this modern legislation the term is used. So this is a use and it is used in parallel with individual rights and rights with collective dimension. Thank you.
Mr. Kalmár, for the final reply, you will have 2.5 minutes left. Now I would like to call Madame Magradze.